Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this video I am very happy to be finally showing you the fourth installment of NECA's quarter scale Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a live action movie, quarter scale figures. I'm so happy that we have this set finally finished. It was such a good idea for them to make these in the first place, and then when they started executing them exceptionally well, it was just icing on the cake, and now we finally have the last one to look at. And I gotta tell you, it's just like the other ones, which is good. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. So very, very excited, very happy to show you this. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Okay, so for those of you guys that aren't familiar, these guys are taller than your average action figure. He's just about exactly 17 inches tall. I know it doesn't look like that on camera. That is a perspective issue. 17 inches tall, which I think is fine. And I will have photos of all four of them together at the end so you can compare the heights. They're just way too big to get them all on screen at the same time for the video. But yeah, they are unique to some extent. They don't all share the exact same parts, so that's a good thing. We do have the different biceps on this guy, like I was originally worried about when Donnie and Raph came out. In the movie, they have different style upper arms, and they actually got that right on the figure, so that's a good thing. As far as the different shells go, well, you'll have to wait and see in the photos at the end. There are some unique features on the shells. I'm not sure if they're 100% movie accurate because I don't remember completely, to be honest. I do remember them being different, though, so we'll see how that plays out. As far as the paint job goes, it's generally all the same thing. The only thing that stands out to me on this guy is that his nose has very predominant brown rings around the black dots, which is not the same as it is on any of the other figures or even on the rest of his spots. So I'm a little worried that that might be some production variance that's not necessarily ideal, and it may get worked out in later production runs. I don't know. It's also worth noting he doesn't have any spots on the front of his arm here. Now that might be intentional. It kind of looks that way in the promo artwork as well. Honestly, I don't remember if that's how it's supposed to be in the movie or not, or how it was in the movie, so it's not a big deal, but that's what I'm seeing, so that's what I'm telling you. But otherwise, it's just, I mean, the paint job is still as fantastic as ever. The shell seems to be a lot more uniformly dirty rather than, I know a lot of people had some issues with like clean smudges or red spots or things like that, so the shell looks pretty good. The shading throughout the skin all looks really nice. The bandana looks good. This part of the bandana looks good. It's got a little bit of the weathering on there. Worth noting, I don't know if you guys know this, I never really mentioned it before. This part of the bandana, do it carefully, but the knot part, it can just pop right off. It's just got a peg. You might want to heat it up a little bit first, but it does pop off, so if you need to, and you probably don't even need to pop it off to do this, but you can adjust this. So I know in my Raphael review, the bandana was kind of like this, so you could see a lot of the plastic. You can just move it around pretty easily on there, and you shouldn't have too much trouble. So that's just a little tidbit that might help you guys out. So yeah, paints are all good. Sculpt is still fantastic. So let's go ahead and talk accessories. He does come with two different sets of gripping hands. The set that comes on him in the package are the horizontally hinged ones. Then we also have the vertically hinged hands. They are not the same hands. I don't know. I guess people are getting confused by that. Yeah, they're different hands with, well, same hands with different hinges. We have two thumbs up hands and then two different open hands for the right side. One that's kind of wider open and then one that's a little bit of a gripping hand. So he has some options there. He does come with his nunchucks with nice rope in there, so that's cool. They look exactly like they should, so that's awesome. He has a piece of pizza, which again is very nicely detailed, sculpt and paint-wise. And he comes with a package of pork rinds, which is very nicely done also. No pork rinds inside, though. Kind of a bummer. Very cool, though, to include that accessory. I want to mention real quick, I didn't talk about this already, so I'll do it briefly. The mouth is sculpted and painted very, very nicely. Same thing for the eyes. He's probably got the best eyes on the bunch. Maybe that's because his eyes are bigger than the other ones. I don't know. But, or at least they show more. But yeah, they are just almost perfectly spot on in the center, and they're very nicely done with a nice gloss finish. Just really fantastic. Now, as far as articulation goes, we do have a double ball peg in the head. His is a little less stiff than the other guys, but I've taken these guys apart now, and if you heat it up, it should work. Interesting thing about that is the ball peg goes up pretty high into the head, so if you want to loosen up the head on top of that ball peg, heat the top of the head. It'll probably help a little bit more effectively. But yeah, you have a double ball peg for the head, so you can move it around pretty well. You get decent posability out of that. You have your ball hinge, your fixed ball hinge, I guess. So it's just a fixed hinge or a swivel hinge on the shoulder. You can't raise the arms up too far, which is not new We've had that issue before. It's for aesthetic purposes, so I get it, but they go up about that far, and then of course you do have your rotation. Very stiff hinge, but you have your rotation in there, so that's good. No bicep swivel, but you do get a bicep swivel down here at the elbow, so you can pose these guys well enough. It'll swivel at the top and at the bottom. Actually, it's a double hinge, so it's not the best range in the world, but it's enough. It'll definitely get the job done. You have probably, let's call it 90. It's pretty close to 90. And then the elbow pad will move around a little bit for you, so you can hide the joint a little bit if you want to. For the wrists, it's a swivel with a hinge, which you can probably figure out if you saw the photos of the hands. This is a loose piece, so it'll just kind of spin around. For the torso, here's the thing about the torso, and this is true for all of the turtles I've ever received. It's floppy. I guess it's a ball peg in there, but it doesn't hold any shape at all. So it's kind of just there. So just kind of ignore that, I guess. For the hips, we have your standard ball hinges. They're ratcheted, but they're pretty much just your standard ball hinge with a thigh swivel built in. So you can get really good poseability going out to the side. And going forward, it's a lot tighter of a ratchet, so be careful. It does sound like it's breaking. It's not, and hopefully it doesn't, but that's just the way it's made. You can get the legs out pretty far forward. You could probably go another notch. This will flex, so that's a good thing. For the knees, it's not quite as good range as the elbows. It's only one swivel hinge. And then the knee pad is actually on a little ball peg. But here's the thing, and I mentioned this before, the knee pad is connected to the bottom part of the knee, so it doesn't hide the joint. It should definitely be up higher, and you can't do a whole lot about it, just a little bit. So it's a bit of a bummer, but it's obviously not by any means a big deal or a deal breaker. And then lastly, for the ankle, we just have a standard ball peg, which provides good enough range. It's not the best, but you can see there's a little bit of an ankle rocker in there, and going forward and back is not too bad either. So it'll work, but he does have a bit of a risk of falling over. Those ball pegs, like I said, they're functional, but they're not incredibly stiff. So you're going to have to really balance these figures if you don't want to risk a shelf dive or use some kind of doll stand to support them. But yeah, they're just fantastic. I mean, obviously they're not 100% perfect, but consider this, guys. These guys are 17-inch figures, fully painted. They do share some parts, but still fully sculpted. Plenty of accessories, and they're only at a $100 price point. That is incredibly good. I mean, we're paying $60 for a 5-inch figure in many cases. This is $100 for a 17-inch figure, which is aesthetically perfect, essentially, and then articulation is just somewhat limited, but that's to be expected. So yeah, I can't see, he just kind of leaned forward. I can't tell you enough how much you should buy these. You should definitely get them, guys. They're absolutely fantastic. If you're a Turtles fan, or if you grew up watching the movies even, or if you just appreciate cool things, you want to get this set of guys. And especially once you see the photos at the end with all 4 of them, you're going to want to buy them. So there's my 2 cents. Don't say I didn't warn you if you don't buy them and down the road you want to and they cost a whole bunch of money. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And in the meantime, keep collecting.